We got feedback. What the hell? Oh boy, feedback. We are looping. What the? Okay. I'm losing my mind because of damn feedback. We are looping. Hopefully it stops it. I apologize. This is Boomersville. I can't even. Okay, I see what's going on. Jesus. Okay, I had an audio feedback loop that totally fucked up the intro. Totally just destroyed the intro. Oh my god, I had this audio feedback loop. So I'm monitoring my D Live and didn't realize it. I'm like, where the fuck is this other stream coming from? So shout out to everybody on D Live. Shout out to everybody on Twitch. Shout out to everybody on YouTube. Sorry for the person who left because there were two people here. Vigilante Williamson here on the 31st episode of my show. Despite the Rocky Open, the Vigilante Williamson show. It is 2/22/21, February 22nd, Monday, February 22nd. And shout out to the 0 people who are now in the chat, at least according to YouTube. Yeah. That clip I sent you was unleaked. Okay. I didn't even check to see what clip you sent. I don't know what it's regarding. And if it's we were talking about music and the time zone thing, but yeah, I didn't check the last email, so sorry about that. Sorry about the little boomerism with the audio. I'm not sure if you guys heard it, but I had a real bad feedback loop that really messed up my mojo for the intro. But we got through it. A little rocky. Got quite a bit to talk about this episode. Got to talk about how terrible SNL is. Talk about how terrible SNL is, how racist Coca Cola is. A group that I like and was inspired by to be anonymous, even though they're not completely anonymous. They're going away. They're breaking up, and a bunch of other stuff. A lot of stuff. I gotta stop saying So sorry about that. I'm trying to get better at this whole YouTube broadcasting thing. There's a few people who are maybe going. I'm not sure with YouTube and their counters. Tupac Shakur. Vig. He's a vigilante. Okay. Clip since you was on leak. I gotta check it is. Oh yeah. Oh, it's Tatiana. It's Tatiana Ali, little girl from Fresh Prince, singing Hook Pop's Personal Friends. Oh. Okay. So you got, man, if you are actually Tupac Shakur, bro, my mom loves you. Hello there. Can't stay for long, brother, but SNL's crap, disgusting. SNL died. Oh, yeah. It died 20 years ago. There was still trickling out. Like there was funny people who you're like, oh, yeah, they did. We're on SNL for a little bit. But I mean, yeah, the stream is the only one that matters. Now I feel like the Clash. Sup, Fimmer? I'm saying what's up to you, bro. It's only showing me that there's one person on YouTube, nobody on Twitch, but there seems to be 3 or 4 people in the chat because he's not just another red shirt. He's the red shirt. He has a lot of great takes on his own. So yeah, I know there's 4 people in the chat because I'm looking at you write messages. Yet the counter, at least for StreamYards, is not updating as I boomer my way into the damn YouTube and pray to God that I don't get a freaking feedback loop to drive us all nuts again. So let's see what's going to happen in this control room. So what is YouTube showing me? YouTube is still showing me they're showing me one concurrent viewer, but I'm looking at 3 or 4 people in the chat. That is very freaky. And that bothers me. It bothers me. Well, I know you guys are here. Don't know why YouTube is lying to the people. They're suppressed. It's good to know I'm being suppressed. Good to know I'm actively being suppressed. You guys, as you gather in and not get counted by YouTube and say hi to each other, I appreciate everyone being here. Little typo, of course, red shirt. No disparagement. Robert's a good dude. Hey, just another red shirt. No, the red shirt. Yeah. So Robert Anderson, Mr. Anderson. Is Robert Anderson and Robert the same people? or because you have multiple personalities. Apparently, I'm gonna need you all to be a little less white if you want to drink pop. Yes, I said pop. I'm from the Midwest. It's pop. What you call it? Soda. It's pop. Technically, it's soda pop, but we said pop. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about on the 31st episode of the Vigilante Williamson show. We made 31 episodes. We're close to 300 subscribers. This has been a ton of fun. It's kind of a pop-up episode. I'm starting to do kind of a pop-up episode Monday or Tuesday of each week, and then still keep with the Thursday. And then Wednesday, Matt will be on this channel for Culture Crime Fighters. We will probably be talking about Patrice O'Neal a little bit more. It's a documentary I got to check out real quick before it gets yeeted. Well, not yeeted, but put behind a paywall on Comedy Central. And there's lots of other stuff, whatever. Probably a lot of subjects that I cover here and on Yelling at Parked Cars, which I'll be on right after this show. But I will finish this show. So there may be, if there's an overlap and you were waiting for that show, I apologize. There may be some overlap and I may start late because I want to get through everything and I want to give it all the time to breathe. So yeah, so let's see what you guys are talking about. If you left right now, I went to D Live and all of a sudden you have like 8 viewers. Yeah, I'm not sure. They're suppressing the growth. Yeah. Salty when he left had 18K on YouTube, all of a sudden 20K on D Live, a smaller platform, not possible. What am I doing on D Live? I know I'm viewing, so just me. But shout out to Prince Energy, who's been on a few different streams, checking me out on the D Live. No fucking and Wander Vogel 77, who at least chatted. Anyone else who's come in on the D Live stream, I appreciate you as well. I was told by somebody, speaking of this D Live and multi-streaming, that if I were to get monetized by this platform, which I do, you guys think they'll ever monetize me even if I had 1 trillion subscribers? Do you think? I think there's a point where I get too many subs, they'll think about yeeting me. But yeah, apparently if I were to get monetized, I couldn't multi-stream the same stream to Twitch, which would suck. It really would. Isn't we have? They're showing me nothing on Twitch. Which maybe I don't think Twitch is suppressed. Usually I don't get that many people on Twitch, but every now and again someone shows up. Mr. Ambien. Am I putting people to sleep? I'm not trying to do ASMR. No, I'm antisocial, but I watched the Muppets as a kid, and that is my excuse. No excuses, Robert Anderson. I'm not sure if you're the same as Robert. And so if it's another Robert, shout out to the Roberts in the chat. Fine by me, badge of honor, in my opinion. So I mean, I don't know, the multiple personalities is a joke or serious, but I mean, wish you the best either way. And before we get hardcore into all the topics, excuse me, must be the coof. So I hope you had your mask on, because I don't. Hail Parrothead. And how does monetization work? You get paid per view. I don't really know. I'm not in on it. Oh, if you want to monetize, technically I'm monetized to you guys already, and I should probably get that up. Yeah. Because I have the pinned comment, Streamlabs. Let me do that while I'm doing that. I need to. I mean, but it feels awkward asking you guys for money. I mean, I'll do that. I love doing this. You know what I mean? It's like, should I ask you guys for money? I've seen streams where there are guys getting like $100 super chats and not even reading them, and not even paying attention, and getting was Cash App and all this other shit, PayPal, all at the same time, and begging, and they're making. And I'm like, I don't really want to do that. You know what I mean? I'm not. So if you want to, feel free, but please let me know. I don't have the alert system. I'm not that smart, so I'm just getting a few things up on a few different. Getting everything set up so I can, because I don't have a producer. I need a producer. I need to use 2 different browsers to get everything signed in. But how does monetization work on other like videos? It is, I think it's per 1,000. There's a different cost per mil. So like if you have an ad, let's say you get 1,000 views and you're monetized, and your CPM, your cost per mil, is $4. That means every time that ad plays, you get $4. You put multiple ads in a video and all of them get played, then you would get 4 times however many ads you put in. And that's how you get paid on a normal monetized video with YouTube, and that CPM could vary depending on the subject and the creator. And that's only after you get 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours, and they approve your content as well. So that's the thing. It doesn't matter. Just like you talked about Salty, he's obviously not monetized. There's tons of channels that are not monetized that are huge, and even channels that are monetized and suppressed. So yeah, you can create subscriptions. Yeah, you can also create subscriptions as well, and you get a portion of the ad and super chats. But if you want to send super chats now, you can send super chats now to my Streamlabs. It's the pinned comment. Feel free. But let me know in the chat if you do, because I don't have alerts set up. And if you're savvy enough to set up alerts and bots and all that, I would love to talk to you, man, because I don't know what I'm doing. Just straight boomer. Saw them up as old episodes. Never thought it was racist. Is this because of Kermit's banjo? Because I got one. Am I racist then? Who knows? Confirmer, who knows? Monetization is basically Monster 7 is vaginal process. It takes way too much time. Man, I'm not really worried about being monetized. Now it's showing at 7 and it's showing the Twitch person. Shout out to you on Twitch. Shout out to D-Live. Shout out to any platform. I'm gonna shout out if you follow me on Minds. Let me get my Minds. So I'll eventually I'll have the bot set up. I haven't even started the podcast. But eventually I'm gonna have a bot set up to just do all this stuff automatically. As far as the market hawking stuff. I also have shirts in the description if you want to check Teespring. That's a little bit better. You're buying something. And mine's if you're into that sort of thing. Let's see. Okay. Monetization is like a strip club. You pay a few $100s to dance at a pole per night and hope you come out with a fistful of washes. Basically, saw them as a kid talking about the Muppets and Tupac laughing at stuff. Hell, TJ Rowe, I appreciate you being here. I like that avatar and film saying hi, TJ Rowe. So first, I want to talk. Let's get into it. Let's finally get into the damn podcast. 12 minutes in, 13 minutes in. Let's talk about what everybody else is going to talk about, at least in this side of the world. The Gina interview. I finally saw the final 10 or 15 minutes. If you watched me and Jake D on his channel, Hollywood Entertainment, another great channel. We talked about it at that point. I only seen about 45 minutes ish of it. Finally saw the rest of it right before starting this podcast. And I want to give the most objective thoughts I could possibly give on the entire interview. And so I'm going to start with my angel's advocate for it, meaning the kind of the opposite side. Most people call it the devil's advocate, but the world's dark enough, right? So I will say that there is a propaganda-esque element to the interview. Let's be honest. She works for the Daily Wire. There was definitely obviously it was well produced or whatever as far as the camera work, but there was definitely a if not edited tone, but a feeling of, he could have asked, even in the context of being a part of the Daily Wire staff, there's questions that could have been asked. There's more detail that could have been probed into. That's not to say that it wasn't a lot of salacious info. I compared it on Jake D's podcast to like the CM Punk interview, if you're a wrestling fan, where a lot of information, even if it was information we knew, still was confirmed and was still kind of like, I don't know if shocking is the right word, but still pretty alarming to kind of see. So it talked about this Zoom call that got a lot of play, this potential, basically when she did the beep bop boop thing, Disney put her in touch with some transgender whatever. And I'm not trying to be disparaging to her for being transgender. I'm more being disparaging to this role. And we'll talk a little bit more in this podcast about this whole corporate woke thing that's really sweeping the nation as more people seem to funnel in. Hey, how about this? Another vigilante, a vigilante who said he's been a vigilante since 7, so he has a little bit more experience with this, but a vigilant vigilante, and I appreciate that he's here. And I use the term angel's advocate too. Great minds. How about that? Cool. Oh, you made it yourself. Cool. Hail, fathead Druid. Hail. That's cool when we see new faces. Did find it interesting that Shapiro's the one who called her. How he get her number? I mean, Hollywood, you can get people's number in Hollywood. And she has apparently she talked about having a lot of offers. The one thing that they talked about is how many people feel this way, and this is the thing that kind of bothers me about the whole thing. I kind of adjust my old little vigilante mask. So Ben Shapiro toward the end of the interview makes this statement that most of the crew think are conservative. And I guess, the thing that bothers me most about anything is like, I'm not a partisan. And I know that may be shocking to a lot of people. I'm pretty just anti-government in general, not to the anarchical extent per se, close, but not quite there. But it's just I don't really like these politicians. I don't really like leaning partisan. I'm much more anti-left. If you have to put me in a partisanship cult, I would be in a libertarian space, near anarcho-capitalism, not quite there, willing to listen to some populism if it makes sense. That's where I would fall in the political spectrum. But I'm not the team guy. I'm even on this channel right now, I am worried about political bearding. I don't really want to do that. I even talked, about it like, hey, I don't like doing hey, we have this many group and that many, even I've done it myself. But she's like, no, we don't have to do that. That's stupid. And so I say all that to say this. This idea that, okay, yes, Gina did get attacked for being conservative. That's obvious. And lots of people are being attacked for being conservative, but it's just like, I get that a lot of her fandom was because she was one of the few conservative actresses, and that, hey, there's all these people on the conservative side, they need a place to go. I don't want to make this about conservatism because I don't care. I don't care for the Republicans, man. I do not care for those motherfuckers. I'm going to talk about one of them a little later as well. So I don't really care about conservatism itself being a thing that gets established in its own space. What I care about is freedom of speech. What I care about are the actual issues at play. I don't necessarily care about the side. I like Gina a lot. I've been critical of her actress and praise her in certain elements of her portrayal. But as much as I care about what happens, and I care about her because, if you watch the interview, you can see that it took a lot out of her. You can see that she was very much, even said, a year before this or the past year, before the past year, she wasn't even politically active. She didn't even vote. This is the first time she voted. So you can tell she was normie to all of the stuff that happened. Hell Slasher McSplitter, man. I just looked up. I hope you're doing good, man. Hope you're doing good. Man, don't murk. Hey, you hit me up for Twitch. What are we celebrating this time? Hey, yeah, it is a cool logo. You did a good job. And I'm getting a lot of compliments, man. A lot of people love the new logo. I got to get used to it in the chat because I'm so used to the damn red VW shit I had. So when I'm looking for my messages in the chat, like a goofball, I'm like, oh wait, I got a different logo now. But we're talking about the Gina thing, and I'll get into a lot of comments in a minute. Yeah, individualism versus authoritarianism. That's what I'm more in on. I'm more about that. I could care less about the conservative having a place to stay. I care more about the fact that they are having their right to free speech. And yes, I agree with some things. I said I'm a libertarian, so yes, there's going to be some not intersectionality. Maybe that is the right word. I'm not sure. It's always mostly applied to feminism, but yeah, there's going to be some intersect. There's going to be some overlap. But I'm not a team player. I'm not a rah team guy, and that's why, even though I care about the Gina, like I said, I care about what happens. I care about her as a person because it affected her. I'm not really. I don't really care like that. You know what I mean? I care because I'm tired of Disney. I've been critical of Disney since the Luke moment. Again, check the channel. A few hours after it happened, I gave that episode a 0 out of 10 because I knew that it was a trap, and I was only proven right pretty much every damn day by Lucasfilm. But as far I want to get some more Angels Advocate points before I kind of get into the meat and potatoes. But you guys are going off. Let me get to you guys, and then so yeah, this is when Robert said he does indeed use Angels Advocate. So what's up? Did find, yeah, Shapiro, yeah. Said that. You guys say what's up. Guys are just cool. Hell go Mikhail. Hell go Mikhail again. What up? Slash McSplitter. I hope you're doing good. Glad Mando Merc is watching me from Twitch. TJ Rowe, yeah, Robert Anderson, what do you got to say? Don't think Gina is much of a conservative. She got tapped because she was apostate like Chris Pine when he refused to cut the anti-Trump campaign ads. Yeah, well, that's the I don't really know what her stance is, but they said that. This is what they said at the end about he said, Ben Shapiro himself said there's a lot of powerful people in Hollywood and a lot of people on the ground level who are conservative. Those are his words, and they're scared of the mob. And 2 points to that. One, again, don't care about the, my interest is not that they're conservative, even if there's some overlap and agreement. My interest is the free speech being violated at all. And I get there's a private company, free speech. There's still hey, there's a private company. ABC and Disney is a private company. Yet NBC is doing sketches about Gina Carano. So like this private company shit, when you get to this, monopoly and collusion and true fascism, when the actual thing when the corporations and the government are all hand in hand playing footsie, you're still destroying free speech. And if you listen, I can get fired from my job if I were to get doxxed. You understand? It's a risk that anyone who has a YouTube channel technically nowadays takes. Because the people at my job are like super. I remember when I went on for the interview, they had this little Trump dial shit. I wasn't even that politically active, right? Because I'm pretty much at the same spot. I hate all politicians. Circled all the way back to where I was. But so I can get fired for doing this, right? So that's not right? So you still have to enforce that and want people not to be fired or bullied. I mean, that's the real main point. She was bullied. They wanted to do this like freaking I think it's a CCP tactic where they hit a bunch of people to scream at you, except this time via Zoom. And she offered to take people out one-on-one. And here's another thing about the interview I'll say. I don't really remember how that resolved itself. Did she take people out? Did she do the Zoom call? They kind of just left it like these were the options, but I can't really remember. Please remind me. Maybe I missed it because it was a long interview. I'm sure I didn't take notes, which I probably should have to be professional. But yeah, it's oh man, I lost my place. When stream brain happens. Yeah, I'll look at the comment. Look at time change. Obama trying to keep Fox News out of the press room and CNN join others to keep them in. Today, CNN is trying to get cable companies to drop Fox News and others. But they can drop Fox News. Fuck them. I gotta get back because there's a bunch of other chats. So I don't want to miss them out. But like, yeah, that partisanship, that collusion is the interesting, not the partisanship. Oh, and another thing about the fact that there's apparently so many big wigs in Hollywood and working staff. Why haven't y'all done this before? Why can't this be done now? Where's the Tony Khan, to use a wrestling reference, right? If you don't know about wrestling, and Slasher knows about wrestling, I talk about it, but there's some allegories for it, right? So WWE's been this big company for ages, right? But this guy who's an independent billionaire, his father owns the Jaguars. They own also, I want to say either Man U or Arsenal, one of those big football clubs out in England. And they have a lot of money. And then they came up with a competing wrestling product. Now, I'm not necessarily too fond of either product. I don't even watch wrestling anymore. But my point is, where are the people? And all due respect to Ben Shapiro, and I'm sure him and Clavin have a little money, but like I'm talking about, if there are indeed billionaire people who are just non-leftists, they don't even have to be conservative. They can be classically liberal. In fact, a lot of the modern right is classically liberal. But just somebody with money. You're telling me there's nobody? And I know people will say Elon, but there's always somebody who's not famous. There's just billionaires who are just billionaires for other reasons. You're telling me there's nobody in Hollywood who has the money or swing to pull? And apparently they'll have a staff. They'll have tons of, if Ben Shapiro's to be believed, which, that's up to you. And Gina herself says she got tons of calls from tons of people, and it's not who you think. And then she also says she has a friend that she wishes that people would come out, and people are already speculating, is that Carl Weathers? I even speculated it was that Pedro. She talked fondly about Pedro in the interview. But if the people have already existed, why have you guys been getting bullied by the leftists? Because you have somebody can stop the SNL skit where they still continue to lie about what Gina Carano did. Somebody can stop the lying and all of this is not just Gina Carano, the lying the media has done for the past 100 years, but especially over the past year with this coof crap, and in general with how they framed a lot of politics and framed a lot of the way the news is spun. If there are these powerful players in Hollywood, where the fuck were they? They're just as useless as old Bubba fucking Cruz, who I'll get into a little bit later, who was talking all that shit to Jihadi Jack Dorsey and he was just as effective at getting, I'm talking about Ted Cruz, he was just as effective at getting some policy change and some enforcement for social media and the internet as Vigilante Williamson, which is not a goddamn bit. Okay, I'm ranting a little bit. Ranting a lot, honestly. Let's see. I apologize if I missed chats. Let me see. Oh, no, this is earlier. Yeah, individualism versus authoritarianism. The Legos off there. Talk about the minifig. Vigilant Vigilante. I can't stick around because I got stuff to do, but I was able to stop by for a moment. Hopefully I'll have more time next time you stream. Yeah. Hopefully I'll stream on Wednesday, Thursday, and then Saturday. So check me out then. And you can always check out the playback Vigilante, the other Vigilante. Just saying hi. Okay, need to take off. Yeah, no problem. Just another red shirt. You're the red shirt, and I appreciate you being here for the opening rant. Yeah, she says one day she meets her money maker. Yeah, she may be a fellow believer. Yeah, I do believe she at least on some level believes in the Most High. Also, I don't know to what extent. I don't know if she's just the spiritual. They say spiritual, not religious type. I don't know. So we'll see. And yes, despite all the cursing I do believe in the Most High, the scriptures. Believe it or not. Hail to all the free folks. I don't know. Freedom ain't free these days. Guys saying hi. I love it. Look how times have changed. Yeah, this is what we read earlier. Look at times have changed. Obama tried to keep the Fox News out of the press room, and CNN joined all the others to keep them in. Today, CNN is trying to get cable companies to drop Fox News and others. That cancellation, again, I don't care about Fox News because they're useless. And I hate all these. And CNN is going out of business. But this continuous cancellation has to stop. There has to be a stopping point, and we have to stop it. And part of that, believe it or not, is a little economic cancellation of a lot of this bullshit, because people say, "Oh, cancel Disney because is there's cancel." No, I owe Disney no money. They put out a product I don't want anymore. I'm not buying it. The end. You don't have to buy any of this shit. As a conservative, I don't want anyone to get fired. Your politics should not affect the livelihood. That is the main point. Well, my friends, got to bounce. I appreciate you being here, Fenrir. Peace to you all. A lot of people getting out of here. I appreciate you guys just kind of chilling out for the opening rant. No one should lose their livelihood no matter what they say, left or right. All real racist comments just let you know. Just left you know. I'm not sure if that was a typo, but I like it because it fits. All left you know who are really the bad ones. Yeah, there's a lot of craziness. So hey Kat. So now you're doing the Clonus thing. You're on Twitch and you're on YouTube. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Later skater, I like that. Hey, I'm just happy to see you, man. And the New York Times just said it's not okay to use critical thinking. Yeah, that is crazy. Another thing is crazy. I was let me read this comment. Not to use critical thinking. Imagine that don't think you guys turn off your brains. 100% obvious. This is some pathetic propaganda. Yeah, it's a lot of propaganda, but it's not obvious to most people. They don't even know what's going on. But I was in Young Ripper's chat, in his Twitch chat. Shout out to Young Ripper. And talking to people. They were talking about all the craziness, all the different school assignments about how you have to write about being oppressed or how you're an oppressor and all this crazy, ignorant, demonic shit. I mean it by demonic because it is wicked, man. You're attacking people's identity. You're normalizing racism. You're normalizing segregation, and in this case, they're trying to normalize lack of critical thinking. Just obey, and golly, that's wicked. That's wicked, man. That's some really wicked shit. That's some really wicked shit, and it's sad because a lot of people aren't going to get it, unfortunately. Good, yeah, it is good to see you, man. Slasher, get to the comments. Cow plus row, okay. 2024. Don't want anything to being a politician. Me neither. The rest of the world sees these kind of rich, influencing people. Just American news and information is a Hollywood production. Our media doesn't serve our country. The rest of the world laughs at us. We laugh. Wait, I'm here to laugh at it too. It's BS. Same, which is why you should do it. Hey, don't run for president. Run for something local. Don't run for president. Oh, wait, Ted, we'll just have another hearing. Yeah, Ted, he doesn't provide anything. Hell, Darius, Moonchild. There's a lot of people in here. Go, Mikhail. I'm not hypothetical enough to be one. Yeah, if you're going to do it locally. Hell, the Ginger Ninja. I appreciate it. I appreciate everyone who's showed up. A lot of people are showing up. Just a little food for thought. Taking the Lord's name isn't saying God damn. It's making a promise in his name and do not fulfill it. I've also heard that's being said that it is using his name of Psalms 83:18, that actual name, in vain as well. Here's the thing about me in the Bible and Christ and all that. I know I don't know. I'm trying to learn. So I'm not ever talking down to somebody or hey, as I tease her a lot, Kate's a witch or into witchcraft. I don't know if she's a witch. I don't know how the witch works. But hell, Kate, I appreciate you being here. She still shows up. And I appreciate that any of you guys show up. I don't know what I'm doing right or wrong. But I'm glad you guys are still here. Jack Dorsey begging Congress for regulations of red herring. He wants protection against lawsuits. RFK Jr. has a legit 1A lawsuit against Instagram. Worked with the CDC to shut him down. Oh, I did not know that. Yeah, I don't trust these hollow petitions. Yeah, pure evil. Ripper lays it down. He doesn't give an F. Love it. Ripper's the only political commentator I mess with. I'm not a Ben Shapiro guy. That's another thing I wanted to say. That yeah, if you're not a Ben Shapiro guy, I get it. I'm not saying he's never saying anything I agree with, but listen, he was cool when he was dropping his little mixtapes at these colleges and people were going crazy after him. But when the albums and the mixtape, when he was dropping these little battle raps, that's what I was trying to say. When he was doing his little battle rap thing at these colleges, it was cool. But when the albums and the mixtapes dropped, I really wasn't feeling them. That's the best way. It was cute, to see him talk to some like leftist idiot and make fun of him and be smarter than him. You know what I mean? A few years ago. Outside of that, I've had no use for his podcast. And who knows? I might say this and then like blow up in a year from now, be on his podcast, be looking at him and say, yeah, that's exactly what the fuck I said. I don't really like your stuff, man. No disrespect, because I don't really fuck with it. It's just so Ripper's way better. Way better. All right. Hey, you ain't gonna tell me. You can just put me on the background, man. I appreciate you here. I want to say hi to everybody. Same, not a fan of Ben, never has been. I agree with him. But you agree? Yeah, I'm sure like the things that bother me about Ben is his convenient. One, I just don't like his style. That's a lot of it. Even a guy like Crowder, who grew up, who was born 2 or 3 months before me, like 10 miles away from me, don't like his style. He's cool. He's cool. I like him a lot more than Ben, like tons more than Ben. But he's just like, I honestly like it when it's more serious. Like, he to me is just not funny. That's really what he is. He's kind of corny. That's the thing. But sometimes you just don't like a style. And with Ben, he in particular, he has these like safe takes that just come out of nowhere. Like, why are you what? What's going on? Not a Ben Shapiro guy, because he was with Bill Kristol and the rest of the Never Trumpers who wanted Hillary to win 50 states to make sure the GOP never had another populist candidate. Well, listen, I'm okay with the death of the GOP. I think we need a new party, and I think we need to be more as Kate will say a lot of times in chat, nullification. We need to be more local. We need to think more local with our politics. Not to say that nationalism for those who are going to keep the state around. I'm starting to really think about secession, but yeah, you're fine, man. I don't think that most people who preach the Bible understand it, and this comes from a Southern churchgoer my whole life, and I think that fact is the reason so many people have turned away from the Most High, and I think that's why we are in a godless society that we're in, because we have people who preach and they're not preaching the Bible, they're not teaching the Bible. Let's be honest, at this point, they are trying to get as much money from their churchgoer public as they possibly can. They're teaching whatever the hell is going to get them money in their collection plate or whatever version, unfortunately, and not the actual scriptures. Yes. Hey, my guy VW. No, it's my guy Nick Weiser. 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser. Please check out his channel if you haven't already. I know a lot of you have hopped over from his to mine, even mine to his. So that's cool. Exactly. I hope I said something right. I don't like Ben. I like Crowder. Yeah, I like Crowder. He's just like sometimes corny, but I like Crowder a lot more than Ben Shapiro, and I like his takes a lot more. He's just not as funny as he thinks he is to me. Yeah, actually, to hear, especially for the kind, that's the letdown with me. He's funny sometimes. I'm not saying he's never funny at all. And I'm one to talk. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm not trying to, throw stones apart. Like I say, he grew up. Well, he was born 2 months ahead of me or so, 2 or 3 months ahead of me, and the same year, about 10 or 15 minutes away from where I was. So I got love for him at the same time. Ripper is truly, Ripper's the man to me. Met more hypocritical Christians than that. Yeah, that's another thing. The hypocritical Christian, man. That's why I don't even define myself as a Christian. I don't. I define myself as somebody who's trying to learn the scriptures and understand them more, and has a deep belief in them for a myriad of reasons. Crowder, like I said, sometimes he's funny, sometimes it just misses. Will YouTube censor a Bible channel? I asked Odin, he said it could be censored. Yeah, it would be censored faster than Naked Yoga. 32 Flavors of Nick. On the 31st episode of VW. I didn't even think about that. Numerology, Illuminati confirmed. And I'm 33. Illuminati confirms. Sup, nerds. Sup, sent your dildo. I gotta probably get this show on the road. I've gone 40 minutes. I haven't covered one show, one article. Is that a request? Tupac Shakur. That's what it is for me. He's too corny for my taste. Not saying he's never made me laugh ever. He's just a bit corny. Ripper and Salty are our generation. Crowder and Ben can function as a softer entry point for barriers for people older than us. Fucking Ben Shapiro's only a year or two older than me, I believe. Let me check it out. Ben Shapiro's not that much older than, he's in our generation. Maybe he's the tail end. Let's see. And I can't type through the math, so I have to remember my damn typing skills from, oh, Jesus. Okay, hopefully Google knows what that is. No, it does not. There we go. Ben Shapiro was born, he's 37 years old. So he's not that, Ripper's 37, I guess 7 years. I'm 33. He's 4 years older than me. Yeah. And plus, I consider my generation, technically I would consider a millennial, but I think the generation of people who graduated high school before social media was a thing, they're almost their own generation in a way. So I graduated in 2005. Social media, technically Friendster and Black Planet shit was out. But social media didn't really get hot to 2006, 2007. That's when MySpace was king. But generational differences aside, which I can also criticize that enough. The whole millennial thing is ridiculous. Ben technically is a part of our generation. he's just an old funny nutty. So you think it's time for a divorce from our government? Young Ripper says, yeah, I'm starting to think so. Turned 42 on this Sunday. Freemasons. Isn't somebody here really a Freemason? I'm not sure if it's you, Gomer Kyle. And then you were talking to me about music. Salty is 40, so he's older than Shapiro. I thought Salty was younger for some reason. So he's older than Shapiro. Yeah, can't stand Shapiro. And again, if that's your criticism of this whole thing, that's fine. I open with the Angels Advocate. It was a very produced interview, and I get not liking Shapiro, but Gina came off genuine. I don't know how many takes different things were. You know what I mean? So if you're that person, you're welcome here, man. We question everything here on the Ben Shapiro show. Here on the Ben Shapiro show. Here on the Vigilante Williamson show, we question everything. You know what I mean? We leave no stone unturned. 32 flavors of dick. I think you need to knock back 32 shots of beer. Oh my God, my liver cannot do that. Section 31 show. Section 31. Offhand, do not remember what that is. His wife is a doctor, and I'm from Detroit, and Gary owned a comic shop. Just rubs me the wrong way. Yeah, I get that. And like I said, some of his takes can be convenient. And speaking of Detroit, hopefully that'll happen over some Detroit or Chicago pizza. I would say I could eat 32 slices, and I can, but I got to get out of it. I got to be a slimmer vigilante. Pull away Boggs on the plane. Always Sunny reference. Did not watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I don't know if I'm going to get to all the stories. There's a reason the radical left hates religion. That's because most religions I like this. That's because most religions consider you a sovereign individual with a personal relationship with God. Is antithetical to Marxism, and as I'm using a Young Ripper term, they're stateists. They worship the state, and it's weird because narcissism, in which people worship themselves, is a huge thing to a lot of these, at least the current day Marxists, but they don't have any value of you. The whole thing is to make sure you worship the state. And another reason I think they hate God is, okay, there's never been a civilization to develop without a religion. And there's multiple reasons for that. Rather not, let's say, you don't believe in a higher power and you're correct, which, again, I don't agree with, but I'm going to take this from that perspective. A religion still provides a unified set of customs and morals for society instead of the state doing it, which is what they want. And it also provides hope. It provides individuals hope. People have been able to overcome people talk about the adversities that people have been subjected to because of religion. I think we can learn now that maybe we were blaming religion too much and the individuals who were doing it not enough, because maybe, just maybe, people will look for reasons to hate and murder people, because that's what people will look for reasons to hate and destroy people. You know what I mean? It used to be race, used to be religion. Now it's your thoughts. If you think wrong, you could be hate and destroy. You could be unpersoned in another person's mind where they don't think you're a human being. But yeah, it's not just the sovereign individual, which is a very good point. And because Marxism, no property rights, it's more about the collective. But it's also because they want to take away your set of morals and your set of standards and replace them with their own. And they want to take away a source of hope that's outside the state. So there's that as well. But I like that point. I never thought of that. Hell, sir. Gen Y. Yeah, they used to call us Gen Y. The generation thing is kind of a scam, man. It's you know what else it is? It's a way of grouping you up. Because I remember millennials were made, man. I remember when the word selfie came out, I knew something was up. They were forcing us to be a more childish generation. I say that in a vigilante mask, a Batman shirt with action figures behind me, right? You know what I mean? But still, they were trying to make us a more childish generation. You know what I mean? They were trying to make us more kid-like. That's why we're the least mature. And even not only has our generation rolled back maturity, past generations have rolled back the maturity they may have had. You know what I mean? People who were more mature when they were my age, maybe in the 90s, now they're in their 50s and they're trying to relive a 20s they didn't get to have because now they didn't have the internet or whatever. So, the whole generation thing is another way of kind of making you group yourself. That's a big thing. We've always grouped ourselves as human, but they really want us to, group ourselves. Well, I'm a Gen Y liberal, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Whatever. Liberal, white, black, whatever. They want you to fill out all these check boxes in your own head for what you are. Well, I'm a conservative, black, Christian. Blah, blah, blah. No, you're a human being. That's who you are, man. That's who you are. So I got to find my... Oh, man, that's way up there. Where we at? Good to see you, Nick. No, Kate. You I don't know how old you are. That's a young person statement. Social media was very popular in 2006. It wasn't on phones yet until about 2010. But no. MySpace was extremely popular. I'm telling you. I'm letting you know. That I'm letting you know. Okay, that's where I was. Yeah. So that was one of the next chats. Since you're doing, yeah, that was the next one. Yeah, social media was popular in 2006 and 2007 because MySpace was huge. It's just forgotten about, but it was huge. Yeah, you guys saying hi? You guys saying hi? I don't want to. This thing jumps. Now I get what people are talking about the jump. So now you guys talking about music. Nothing about Gina. Just don't like Spirit. No problem with that. I understand that. Oh shit, gotta check that out. Talking about music. No, I'm not a Freemason. Interview was good, but not the end all be all interviews ever. No, nor did anyone think it was. I was actually shocked because Midnight's Edge had a much more reserve. They made like a 3-minute video the day before it dropped for everybody when it had already dropped for the Daily Wire subscribers, and their video was very reserved and praised. So I think it was almost too reserved because I got a little bit more out of this than I thought. But yeah, it was not the end all be all either. What is age? Well, Aaliyah told us age ain't nothing but a number. Status guy, yeah. However, Goldwater was right about conservatives. What did Goldwater say about conservatives? The reason Marxism exists is because Karl Marx wanted to piss off his industrialist daddy. Crazy Puritan crap distracted from liberty. If that's what he said, then he's 100% correct. Yeah, it is. Not sure what it is. Oh yeah, it's one more way to divide. Definitely. Hell, Jason C. I can explain why the Jen thing happened with proof. Okay, I would love to hear that, Rowan. Ginger Raven, Kate. Belief in the afterlife is a good cure for apathy. No wonder radical leftists are nihilistic cunts. Yeah, that's another thing. There's positives to these, even if you don't have these beliefs. That's you're welcome here as well. But there's a reason this stuff got popular. I remember when Twitter started back in college. I'd avoid that like the plague, and I'm glad I did. Twitter was another thing manufactured. If you remember with Twitter, celebrities would have Twitters. They were the first ones to have Twitters, and all of a sudden, the media was just reporting, oh, this is what such and such said in their tweet. This is what such and such said in their tweet. Like, Twitter just came out. Why are you reporting it like it's, I guess, as important as Facebook or MySpace or something? Because remember, MySpace still had some relevance. But this is on Twitter, and they made it important. They manufactured Twitter's importance. They still manufacture Twitter's importance. If you look at the long game, makes sense. They manufacture Twitter's importance so they can continue to manufacture Twitter importance. Most people don't use Twitter, and the people that do use Twitter don't do most of the tweets. It's a very small minority, and they will use that minority as justification for anything, for social engineering, which they're doing out in the open. Unfortunately, there's still too many people who don't realize it. I remember YouTube blowing up in terms of talkback content with atheism channels about 6 or 7 years ago before the content codes. Problem was one of the left nutballs was amassed and unleashed. Yeah. I remember some of the atheist channels and stuff that was out there. I remember when YouTube was a lot more wide open. I wish it was like that. And I hope Odyssey or one of these new platforms, and I am on Odyssey, I hope one of these new platforms can take that place. To be fair, lots of wars have been waged in the name of religion. Absolutely. Muslim, Christian, or whatever, both groups have killed people for nonsense. Example, Salem, which I've actually heard rumors that Salem was the opposite, that the witches were the ones who killed the Christians. But my point was not to necessarily absolve any conflict that happened in religion. My point was to just say that the human condition itself, human beings have a tendency to find and I'm going to use a leftist term, but human beings have a tendency to find a way of othering, for lack of a better term, another group of people, be it by religion, which has happened often enough, but it can also be race, it can also be belief system, or it can also be a myriad of other things. If you're the gang, could be the colors you wear. And even if you're not part of a gang, you wear the wrong colors in the wrong neighborhood. That can cause conflict, right? But it really, at a fundamental level, it's not whatever the actual stimulus is. That's just kind of a root thing. There's something about the human condition, the tribalism, that says we're a group, and that group, maybe it's the natural evolutionary psychology. I know I just how you religion and believe in evolutionary psychology is long. I'll do a podcast on that probably one day. But whatever it is, that is the issue. And you can say it's religion because that's been, one of the most popular reasons that othering has taken place. But it doesn't have to be. It can be anything. And we're seeing nowadays that the fight is politics. And really, it's not even politics. It's a mind code. It's wrong thing, right thing. You're supposed to think what we tell you. Literally, as was mentioned earlier, the didn't have. Yes, it did, Kate. Yes, it did have MySpace. That's misremembering history. MySpace was very popular. The thing that MySpace didn't have was when apps came out, when the iPhone came out, the app for Twitter and Facebook were out very quick. And I don't even remember if MySpace had an app. That's what I mean. MySpace was dying in terms of popularity with Facebook anyway, but that's when it really fell off. There was a stretch when there was there were companies on MySpace. It's like it's hard to kind of quantify because the internet itself, the real thing was the phone. When the phone came out and the smartphone came out, that changed the internet completely. So it's kind of hard to compare something from like MySpace, which is from an older version of the internet, even though it was just a few months and some years or whatever that cutoff period. But it's really once the smartphone got normalized, that's how the modern social media that we currently enjoy and hate kind of got going. But that's not to say that MySpace, for what it was, wasn't extremely popular, because for what it was, it very much was. There were old people on MySpace. There were teachers on MySpace. There were, there were dentist offices on MySpace. That did happen. But then again, once the smartphone came out, that's when social media took it to another level. So on some level, you're not necessarily wrong that it wasn't on the same level, but it's like, well, neither was the internet itself. So it's kind of hard. Neither was YouTube. YouTube in 2008 or 7 or 6, whatever you want to say, MySpace's era, was not the same as it was even in 2011, 12, and 13, because the internet wasn't the same. So it's kind of hard to compare, but I think MySpace was a lot bigger than you're giving it credit for. Funny thing, I'm in my 40s, was never into MySpace, resisted Facebook as long as I could until it put me in like the mafia. The opposite. I had a MySpace, then I got a fake book and kept that till about 2014. Just got rid of it and haven't looked back. Only got social media again to do this, even though I looked on Reddit do patches. But until this, I wouldn't even be having a social. If not for this, I wouldn't be having a social media. Irony is that the religions that hold the most contempt to each other are all basically reading for the same doc. Yeah. There's a lot of irony in that. No disrespect to anyone's belief. Not taking it personally. Never had a Twitter account. Best decision ever. I would say I don't understand how anyone could use that platform. It's a very disgusting platform. I'm an hour in. I have not covered really any story outside of Gina, and that may be the only story we cover. So I may do another episode to cover everything else, because I want to cover the Coca Cola. I want to cover a lot, but I do want to make yelling at parked cars. So I don't know how we actually do it. I appreciate you guys ripping it, killing it in the chat. I appreciate you guys killing me. I mean, 15 at least combined, and I know I got a little bit more. It's just like 14 on YouTube, a person on Twitch, could be Mando, Merc could be a stranger. And I didn't check what's going on in my D Live. What's going on in my D Live? Looks like no super chats, which is cool. Still love you guys. And D Live, what are you guys saying in D Live? Nothing new, but there is somebody viewing that's not me. So I appreciate whoever it is in D Live. I see you out there, and I got love for you. All right. I always had the argument. Yeah, I always had the argument. I mean, hell, there's the Baptist Church of Christ, Church of God, all different ways of thinking. Yeah. Fake book was convenient early on, then it became a tumor. Yeah, fake book wasn't that bad first. Yeah, we'll kill each other, religion or no religion. That's really my point. We'll figure a way. We'll figure a reason to hate each other, unfortunately. Preaching. I don't know if I'm preaching. I'm just rambling, but I appreciate it. And 5 in a 5 mile radius of each other talking about the church. Yeah, they're like GameStops or like Subways or McDonald's. High five for that F Twitter. Twitter is so trash. Like, I don't understand. Like, Twitter is toxic. Like, I only have it to contact people. That's the only reason I have it. Like, that's how I'm contacted to do even a lot of shows I'm on. So that's why I have it. But when you have to see just like some of the arguments and stuff, it's like, no, I'm not going to argue with the most craziest people on earth about anything. Twitter is a platform that allows CP. And think about that. Think about how big this platform is, and that no media outlet at all has an issue with the maps on Twitter. Isn't that something? Isn't that something that this platform even exists, but is with allowing that and being open and allowing that? Isn't that something? But that's the world we live in. Counter people from many religious backgrounds, judging by the content of the characters. Everyone should. Agreed. Saying hi to each other. I appreciate that you guys show love to each other in the chat. I know MySpace popular. That's what I'm saying. Smartphones wasn't common until 2010, but that's my point. My point is MySpace was popular for what it was. The internet in 2009 and in 2011 are two different internets. So it was. I think you're still underrating it. You're underrating it because the whole internet wasn't the same. That's like saying AOL is not as big as Gmail. Well, yeah, it's true, but like AOL for the time was super big. So it's like, obviously, that's like inflation. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're not totally wrong, but like I feel like MySpace was a lot bigger. Like MySpace was pretty huge. You would see a commercial and see a company promote their MySpace in the same way you would see somebody promote their Twitter or Instagram or whatever. So that's why I go on to. YouTube was powered by cat videos. They were powered by cat videos and memes back in the day. And remember when you couldn't upload a video past like 10 minutes or something like that? Wouldn't touch Twitter with Satan's figures. You would be smart not to. Sincerely curious what the Middle East and general Muslim community think about the treatment of the Uyghurs and Muslim Maoland. That is a good question. And what they think about the gender studies conscious they're going to deal with. YouTube started in 2004. It was music and jackass-like stuff. Yeah, I do remember that as well. YouTube had a lot of fun stuff, though. Live in Japan. Hell, Japan. So I go on Facebook to check out how my family and friends are doing in the States, but it's become a cesspool of TDS posts and battleground for political disputes. I was trying to get everyone's, another way of contacting them if you could. Gone about a month, deleted, never looked back. Yeah, closed my Facebook account a couple years back. Got banned on Twitter. Oh man. Great bunch of great chat. Yeah, 32 flavors. Disgusting. Have Facebook for Messenger in case my service doesn't work. I have Wi-Fi. I like MySpace though. Indeed. If I didn't need to be available to peeps back in OS, I would delete FB Messenger immediately. Are there no Hail Runner? I appreciate Runner. Check out his channel. It's a great channel. There no See, I'm an old man. I might as well be a boomer. Are there no messaging alternatives that normal people use outside of social media? Because if not, I really feel for you guys. Maybe heck, I remember AOL keywords. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the internet, it's like whatever is the hottest thing now in 10 or 15 years. They're like YouTube. YouTube was trash. And you're like, no, YouTube was big, but whatever's going to be there is going to be so much bigger because it constantly evolves. Or maybe it's not. I don't know. Especially with all the craziness. They're trying to solidify the companies that currently exist. I've heard people talking about nationalizing Twitter. Like, so you want to reward them for censoring people? No, let the free market destroy them. I just post my artwork on there and say the hell for everything else. That's probably smart to do. YouTube was fun back in the day. Love those jump scare vids. I was not a fan of jump scare. Hell, yeah, you guys. I went the whole hour talking to you guys. What time is it? Oh man. I gotta cover something. I gotta cover something. We are gonna cover something. I gotta cover something sad because this is the first story, and you guys can see how many tabs I have up to see how much I had to cover. But Daft Punk broke up today, which sucks. I said this, and it's funny, man. In my origin story video, which I think I'm the person who watched the most because I will sometimes click and check to see how many subs I have on the stream and it keeps replaying. But in my origin story video, I mentioned a few artists who were influential in me wanting to do music under a mask, which was the whole reason I came up with Vigilante Williamson in the first place before even thinking to do a YouTube channel. Daft Punk and MF Doom were the two of those artists. Daft Punk is broken up, and of course, MF Doom passed. Actually, not too long after I made that video, because it only passed a few months later, and then we didn't find out till late months after that. So this is kind of hits me in the feels. It's actually the namesake of this podcast, despite their legendary song "One More Time." But yes, the legendary dance duo has called it quits after 28 years after forming in Paris. Daft Punk, the Parisian duo responsible for some of the most popular dance and pop songs ever made, have split. They broke with the news in an 8-minute video entitled Epilogue, excerpted from their 2006 film Electronica. Active Daft Punk would know more. The longtime publicist, Catherine Fraser, confirmed the news to Pitchfork, which is trash, but gave no reason why, or gave no reason for the breakup. And I did not see that video. And I'm not sure if there's a Daft Punk fandom. This just goes on to talk about, it actually has a video I guess I could play, but as bad as I am with the DMCA, I don't want to get yelled at by them. But I am a Daft Punk fan, and it sucks that they broke up. I mean, I don't understand why they didn't just take a hiatus. They've taken long hiatuses before. They could have just did that, but they chose to break up, which sucks. Sucks. Okay, what do you say? I did get that video of Prince rocking out, and I thought I messaged you back on mine. I may not have. Sorry if I did not. Social media is the most common use of communication now. Godly, I feel sorry for you normies. Daftest thing I heard all day. Maybe the most punk as well. They did last a long time, but really they had hiatuses in between. They would have, that's basically what they would do. They had that run into the, in the late 90s, in the early 2000s, and they did the Tron soundtrack in between a couple albums, but then they had kind of a gap. It was like they had that run, Homework, and then Discovery. And I think Homework is 97, Discovery is 01, but there's singles in between. So they have those two albums. And then they kind of wait a little bit, and I can't remember the other one that came out. And then they do the Tron soundtrack. And then after the Tron soundtrack, it's a huge delay until they came out with recent stuff. So it's like they kind of went, they could have just broken up privately without breaking up and just say, let's just take time off and then come back. Maybe they did that and decided this. I'm not sure. But it's still sad to see them go. Still sad. Like their style. I did too. Really innovative as far as sound design. 28 years is nothing to sneeze at. No, it's not. That is a long time. Cool. LOL. Yeah, they were pretty great. Hopefully they're retiring, spending the rest of their days relaxing. Yeah, that's also cool too, to retire. It's okay being a vigilante keeps you busy. Yeah, it does. Tron soundtrack is so good. It's Zen for Airplane Ride. Yeah, it's a really good soundtrack. It made that movie really good. And again, it's sad to see them go. I thought I messaged you back though. That now I'm bothered. No, but I'll just have to check afterwards. I gotta move on. Try to get as much of this podcast covered and try not to be too late to get parked cars. Got a little bit of time. Not to rush through it. I referenced this trash, this SNL trash. So, and I don't even know if I finished talking about Gina. I just rambled and got into your chats and then kind of, went from there for an hour. You guys are going on. But yeah, SNL talked about Gina. SNL hasn't been relevant since like 2090, late 90s. But they have a skit. And the only reason I knew about this was Mr. H. And they talk about Gina. They lie and say that she compared conservatives to people who dealt with National Socialists and that group who were being persecuted by them, which is not what she did. That's a very disingenuous and disgusting way of looking at it, especially when in doing so, you're actually kind of proving it right. But they did. And then they talked, they did something that most of the media didn't do. So I'm going to give this terrible, corpse of a show a little bit of credit, because even though they went, straight leftist and talked about Ted Cruz, which I'm okay with, because Ted Cruz accomplished just as much as I did when it comes to internet policy, which is not a goddamn bit, because he's trash. So I'm okay with people yelling at Ted Cruz. In fact, even though, and I understand the argument that, hey, he works in the Senate, therefore he has no means to really do anything from a legal standpoint. He still lives in Texas. There are still optics. He does have the right to, he does have the ability to, pick up a phone and do things. And as we'll see when we end this podcast, there were people who reacted to what happened in Texas, who were local people who figured out ways to help each other. So yeah, he could have done that. And I'll give another point, and this is in the interest of fairness. And I'm going to talk about the evil waifu. Oh, ALC, evil waifu ALC. Do you remember the time she lied about being somewhere not earlier in the year, where she lied about that psyop and she really wasn't there? Not that time. Not that time. It was about a year ago when the coup kicked off, and she lied about being, she did the same thing. She lied about being in New York when she was in Washington. And this is when the coup was, if you remember, just killing New York. And she said something about being together or whatever, and she wasn't there. So she was killed for lying, as she should have been, but she was also killed for not being there. She was killed for not being in New York and instead being for Washington. Yes, there was a lot of heat on her, for rightfully so, for lying, but it was the same principle. She's a member of Congress. She couldn't really do anything specific to them there. There was no real difference in that specific element of that regard. Again, she lied. AOC lies a ton. But all these politicians are the same. That's really what I'm trying. I'm trying to let you know that fuck all these politicians. And I'm okay with them bashing Ted Cruz. I have no problem with them bashing Ted Cruz. What I've had a problem with, and what I have a problem with, is Cuomo getting off scot-free, but he didn't here in SNL. He didn't. They actually made fun of him too. They actually talked about it too. So as terrible as this show is, and they also made fun of Britney Spears, who's been legitimately manipulated, and a lot of illegal shit has gone on with what they've done to Britney Spears. There's people with her power of attorney to keep her in a mental institution. It's really fucked up, but they made fun of her. So real classy SNL, real classy. And don't make any jokes about any people that I actually did not make fun of on a different podcast. We don't have time for that. But yeah, let's see what you guys have to say before I go on, because I'm going to actually touch on what Cuomo did, because I like I said, they're trash, but SNL actually did cover what most of the media didn't. So yeah, you guys are killing it in the chat. Yeah, they were pretty great. Oh yeah. Talking about Daft Punk. That's me. And the Daft Punk will be old dudes now. The reason they wore headgear was to maintain relevance without looking like old codgers. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You first have to break up so that you could tour 5 years with a reunion, tour selling tickets for another $20, maybe another $200 more. I remember LCD Sound System did that shit. All right, head over to Comics Division. Be well, chat, talk soon. As always, VW. Love yelling at love watching yelling at parked cars. Looks like that's starting soon. So I don't know how much I'll cover. True that, Anthony. We will be over there, so we will bomb the chat there soon. You know what I could do? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna talk about Cuomo, and then I'm gonna get to the positive stories, and then we're gonna go home. That's a wrestling reference to end the match. So just end. So yeah, stay frosty, my brother. And I will be over there as well. If I got a link, I should probably check to see if I got a link. If I didn't get a link, I guess we're going longer. SNL refused to mock Obama. That's when they got useless. They were useless long before that, but that's when it just is complete terrible. Haven't watched SNL years. All Orange Man bad crap. Yeah, days of SNL providing smart comedy are long gone. Yeah, I don't think anyone's in this chat will be alive. A lot of people in this chat probably are not. Were not alive when SNL was last good. Ruth Korean is hanging with Winston Smith. Agreed. They should have taken the South Park approach to staying relevant, give everyone shit equally. And you can argue that even South Park at times doesn't always do that. Was she at the fence? Who knows? When she was at the, you said when she was at the fence. It was yeah. She lied about being at the fucking what you call it at the incident in January, and she also had lied a year ago about being in New York, when the coup was hitting, and she was in Washington. Difference between us and them, we call both sides out. You do, and I know, and I do. And Ted should be asked questions. Yeah, Ted, it's okay to yeah, pretty much VW kicked to the curb. It's okay to bash Ted. I've seen some parsons. Well, they really go, well, they should just talk about Cuomo. No, they can talk about both, motherfucker. They should talk about both. And yes, they should talk more about Cuomo. It should be a huge thing. So I'm going to cover it before I go. It should be a huge story because that also happened in my home state with that fucking demon Gretchen Wilson. Is that Whitmer? Who's Gretchen Wilson? Sorry about Gretchen Wilson. I think it's a country singer. Gretchen Whitmer. I apologize to any fans of Gretchen Wilson. That is a country singer, and I just hit me. Damn, is the Gretchen and W and just meshed together? Oh man, did I lose my space? Sorry if it looks like I lost my space on my chat. But yeah, Whitmer. Gretchen Whitmer did the same thing. Oh man, no. Only thing I saw was Bill Burr about woke mobsters, and that was stolen from Cumtown guys. I'm not sure who the Cumtown guys is. I'm not on the hub that much. Yeah, I wish we had Living Color and Mad TV too. A lot of the Living Color and Mad TV sketches wouldn't even be played. Pop. The stuff that Mad TV was doing when you were alive, even the stuff that SNL was doing when you were alive, would not be played. So Goma Kyle says he was alive when it was good. You sure? Did you watch reruns? I don't know. I totally believe her. I mean, it seems she was definitely quite logical. She was definitely at the erection. Yeah, she's definitely been at the erection, and she's going to be at the wall pretty soon. Dude, I'm in my 40s. I remember. Okay, so you remember Eddie Murphy. You remember Eddie Murphy, Chris Farley being on SNL. Cool. Dana Carvey, Mike Myers, Dennis Miller. He did Weekend Update. Okay, you guys caught me. I tried to come clean my previous name, not being at the Capitol. Okay, getting this off my chest. I was with the Evil White Fool. Listen, a lot of people have been with the Evil White Fool AOC. Let's just keep it honest. I love how many old fogies. Well, hey, I'm an old fogey myself, so it's cool to have all those old fogies here together. Back to this SNL. I don't really care about the SNL thing. I just want to, they're not funny. They're terrible. And the sketch is unbearable to watch. Holy crap. It is so cringeworthy. It's like how they had to use the fake laughter. It's like, oh my God. How did you produce this shit? I see people leaving because yelling at cars are going on and I'm still ranting. But I got to give them credit to do what most of the media didn't do, and that's cover Cuomo. And that's what we are going to do before getting out of here. Let's see. So we're just going to cover these last stories, and I may do a show tomorrow. And we're actually going to do, hometown, Detroit Free Press. Cuomo was a national star for COVID response. Nursing home deaths appended that. Yeah. He won an Emmy award for his COVID-19 briefings to a spoof on Saturday Night Live. So yeah, we just talked about shitty SNL, but he won an Emmy. This motherfucker won an Emmy despite murdering people. There's no other way to say it. He murdered people with his policies. They're dead because of his decisions. His decisions. They put all of those coof deaths on the orange motherfucker, and I'm not an Orange Man fan, even though I voted for the demon. But this motherfucker, they kept saying, oh, these hundreds of thousands of deaths, 40% of it was because of this motherfucker. If this motherfucker didn't do what he did, that death toll is almost in half at certain points. But let's get into him a little bit more. Cuomo's star turn for no one perceived him as frank and informative. The demonized media perceived him as frank and informative because you're evil. You lied. This is a lie. This is a lie. This is somebody using right think and spinning shit. He was never on the side of the people. He was never. Maybe you demons in the media loved him because you were told to love him, but he was never perceived nationally to be informative. That's a lie. The lie detector. I need to get the Maury show. Lie detector test determined that was a lie. All right. The states admitted undercounting of nursing home deaths due to the coup and an ongoing scrutiny over the March 24th order to allow nursing home residents in the hospital to return with the coup has put the governor in the most precarious position since she took office a decade ago. March 25th, huh? What date is it? What did I say? February 22nd? Literally 11 months later? This is a story 11 months later? 11 months later, when there were so many people, a lot of people get censored by this colluded big tech and all these other platforms. So many people calling this out since March 25th, since March 26th, since March 27th. But it's now February 22nd of 2021. And now it's okay for the mainstream media to realize, well, maybe, just maybe some of these governors killed some people with their decisions. Maybe, just maybe, when we blame every single death on the orange man, just maybe we were fucking lying to the American people. Just maybe. It took them 11 months to realize that. They radicalized everybody with a lot of those deaths, by the way. Because remember, New York was the hotbed and the nightmare scenario, as I get wrapped up in course, that everyone told us about. Oh, and he was also accused of meddling in a corruption-busting commission that led to an investigation for then U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara. Ultimately found no criminal wrongdoing, of course. And his top aide is in prison for kickbacks. And Cuomo's a mob guy through and through. I might get whacked talking shit about him. This story is almost hard to read because this idea that, oh my God, he's turned into a bad guy now because of something he did 11 months ago. You guys are just stupid. Fucking stupid. You guys are also going off in the chat. Not you guys, two different guys. Oh yeah, this one. Alrighty. Yeah. Everyone's with the evil waifu. She's used to give it. This is how she made her money. She used to she's an actress. But hey, make no mistake, she's the most dangerous woman on earth. If not, she's in the top 5. I mean, the queen is probably the most dangerous going, but long term, unless the queen sucks more adrenochrome from what were they, orphans? If she sucks more orphan adrenochrome and extends her life another 100 years, maybe she'll keep going. But outside of that, fucking AOC is dangerous because she's very charismatic. As you said, hey, she used to giving old men in bars erections, and we know once the wrong head starts thinking, that's when the simping starts. And there's a lot of AOC simps. And again, she goes on Twitch. What do I have? One person, shout out to you on Twitch. I've had as many as 14, 15 people on YouTube. She goes on Twitch and plays Among Us, 500,000 people come out. That's power, man. And that's 500,000 people coming out now who may be 18, who are going to be 28 by the time she's president. And yes, the plan is for her to be president, which is why I'm a decentralization guy. Born in 79, Gomer Kyle says, saw the good times. Cool. Remember Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd, and Bill Murray. So you remember the OG crew. Fine wine takes time. Indeed does. Just going to follow you over there anyway. Yeah. Yep, he's an Emmy-winning star at that. Spies Like Us, talking about great material. We are living in a propaganda state. Yeah, I've said it many times. This is North Korea. This is the CCP. This is National Socialist Germany. That's what this is. We live in a propaganda state. There's no conversion, no enlightenment, no progress. Just bending the knee to overlords. Dems can't count votes, can't count bodies by accident, of course. Obviously, it's just a mistake, clerical errors. Cuomo is such a crook. He should be locked up. Yes, he should. Somebody should get him the old cement shoes. Yeah, they're all legends. Cuomo's defense will be most of them are Trump. Yeah, and that again, if you think the wrong way, you're not a human being. So it's okay if you die. Did you get a new mic or change your settings? You sound glorious in my ears. Well, thank you, Ruth Korean. No, recently I do have this thing. like there's like a two, they have the windscreen, and then I put this little cover over the mic to kind of stop with the plosives. And then I mess around with the settings kind of all the time, so maybe I just have them right. But I can't. I wish I could say, "Oh, I'll just keep them here," but unfortunately, I do music, and sometimes I switch channels, so that channel may be good. So I just had the mix rights. Thank you, man. He's the embodiment of your T-shirt. How the government wants to yeet our lives. Speaking of which, check in the description on YouTube. The Teespring is there, and you can buy that shirt. It is about how the government wants to kill you. All right, friends, got to go. Getting up early. Have a good one. VW in the chat. Yeah, we're going to end soon. By Ascension Dildo. Shout out to Fathead Druid. We're going to end soon. We're going to get to our positive stories, and then we're going to all hop over together to yell at parked cars as I'm a little late to the party. But our media totally co-signed and allowed this man and Gretchen Whitmer, who I unfortunately confused with Gretchen Wilson, and there was another governor. I can't remember the Illinois guy, and I think Nick Wise was already at yelling at parked cars. But all of these demonic governors, and I'm serious when I call these people demonic. They're very wicked, very wicked. They know what they're doing. I'm not doing naivety. This was a pandemic. There's just too much to tell me this isn't a pandemic, especially when you consider how much of an authoritarian state that we live in now, as opposed to the one we did 14 months ago, before we even knew about the coup. So the media is now trying to. They can't even turn all the way around Cuomo because, again, SNL is one of the most, despite how terrible they were, one of those balanced coverages of Cuomo because they made fun of Bubba Cruz, but they also covered him. So you got to give him credit for that. Lightfoot, speak the truth. I hope so. Try to. So you know what? I talked about, speaking of Bubba Cruz, the defense was said, well, he's a senator, so he doesn't have to. All the partisans. This is why I don't have any respect for you partisans when y'all make excuses. Because look what this Central Texas restaurant owner did. He did more than Bubba Cruz, and he's not a politician. No state elected him. He's a private citizen. This is, again, another reason why some people are anarcho, because it's like, yeah, human beings were just human. Human beings were just human. You don't need a socialist state to get people to do good things for each other. That's another reason I read these positive stories to end this podcast every freaking time. Even in the show where I'm rushing to get out, I want to still end it with a positive story, and I'll try to cover all the other stories because there's a lot of it I want to cover tomorrow. I'll do a pop-up podcast again tomorrow. But I like ending with positive news. We talked so much about a lot of the ills in the world. We talked so much about Gina Carano this episode and kind of took over it, and we went into talking about everything, but include MySpace, everything. But we have to remember there are, no matter how bad things are, no matter how gloomy things are, there are indeed still good people in this world. There's indeed people who are doing good for each other in this world, and there is indeed a reason to keep going. There's good in this world. No matter how much evil you see, there's always good in this world. Yes, sir. Good truth. Okay, so let's get into this. Restaurant in Texas is struggling to survive under coronavirus restrictions, which a lot of restaurants are. But the owner is putting the community first, offering free meals to anyone who wants it. The Riv owner, Vera Shadusma, with her husband. Of course, they do the woman first, even though the man. I can't. I shouldn't be mad at the feminist slants and positive story, but they love doing that. That's just something I noticed. But the Shaduzma family and two visiting chefs opened up the restaurant during the winter storm with a limited menu based on what items they had available. Shaduzma said that she wanted to give back to the community and has supported her 3 businesses for 7 years. So she is a very successful business owner. She posted the offer for free pasta meals on social media and was immediately overwhelmed with requests. The community backs me up at a good time, and I have a kitchen full of supplies, she told KWTX. Why would I not cook? The restaurant filled 150 orders in the first 2 hours. Wow, good job for that restaurant. After making an offer from single mothers who weren't able to explain to their children that spaghetti wasn't available at the store, to families needing to feed 10 or more people. Anyone who needs a hot meal is able to call the restaurant and ask, no questions asked. I want everyone to know that we're still offering free meals and needs, so no questions asked or limits, just a simple phone call, and I'll leave the number there. I won't say it. You can see it. Just highlight it real quick. So if you're in the area in Central Texas, um, and you're in need, feel free. She wrote on her official Facebook page. Given the week we've had to endure, we know the supply is limited and warm food is scarce or can be scarce. But don't hesitate if you or a friend could use a hot meal. We are so blessed, thankful for this community. You want to give back any way we can. That's a cool story. And there's countless stories. I'll have plenty of positive stories for tomorrow's podcast to go from. I could have went old school Vigilante Williamson and went a completely positive podcast this episode. There were so many stories about what happened. Excuse me, as I don't know what the hell that was. But so many stories of people doing really nice things in the face of adversity, in the face of a lot of this weather. Despite what that freaking demon who used to be on Star Trek, whose name I already forgot, who I joked would get eaten by cats. Despite what she said about how people get what they deserve, even though there were people who voted the way she rather than vote, who had power outages, even though a state like Oregon had power outages despite being a state as used to the snow. Despite all that shit, all the gibberish, that it's just so cool to see these stories. And there's tons of this. People really do come together at their time of need. We talked about how people find, whether it's religion or point of views or race or different tribalism, it could be geography. And to be tribalistic in this negative way, but we forget the human tribe that comes out whenever there's a real tragedy, and that's what that is also a part of our condition. It's very easy to forget that. And so this one is even more crazy when you think about it. A Texas grocery store owner loses power and then lets customers leave with free groceries. This is incredible. When you really think about it, what like being a local owner, how much that decision probably cost you. I mean, maybe it can be written off, but that wasn't the point. It was just like, there are people in need. We'll figure it out later. A grocery store in Texas lost power and allowed all of its customers to take their groceries home without paying for them. An HEB grocery store in Leander, Texas has gone viral for its act of kindness for families during a severe winter storm, which has left many scrambling for food and water after their power outage. The store allowed customers to leave with groceries free of charge. Tim Hennessy 60 shared his experience on Facebook, which is pretty long, and I don't want to get through all of it because, again, I am rushing for time. But as you can see, it's a really, really cool story. On the way out the door, turned to the HEB employee, said, "Oh, wait, I forgot the filet mignon." We had a good laugh on that one. In light of the news, people took it to Twitter to praise Heb for the act of kindness, or HEB. While at HEB, seriously everything, the electricity went out and the Leander store this afternoon. While people were shopping, which meant they could not check out, HEB let everyone take their carts for the groceries home for free. That's really cool. Yeah, all the feels. It does hit you in the feels, right? HEB was founded in 1905 as a small grocer in the Hill County town of Kerner. The family-owned business now has 100,000 employees and over 300 Texas stores. Has been able to keep its own against big chains like Walmart and Kroger. So I guess HEB is a Texas local chain. That's because Texans believe HEB is more than just a grocery store chain, especially when it comes to disaster response. Yes, they have. Look at this tweet. HEB has done more for Texas than our own government leadership the past year. I trust a southern grocery store chain more than the people whose job it is to be there for us when we need them. Again, this is why, and this person has a BLM thing, right? So, we're not politically, we don't politically resonate necessarily. But again, this is why people don't need the state. So I'm sure this person, I'm not going to judge them, but I'm sure they just, BLM is what I'm supposed to put in there. And that's right, because anti-racism. So I put BLM, because if they actually follow any of the leftist extension of BLM, they're a socialism based organization. So they give those people whose job it is to be for when we need them, and for them, that's whose job it is. It gives them more power and enables them to do even less. So there's that. But I agree with her point. Regardless, they know their customers, and that gets rewarded. Lee McAllister, a marketing professor at the University of Texas and author of the book Grocery Revolution. Okay, she has to plug her shit. But all in all, that's a really, 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 really cool story. Um, really cool story. That is, I just that's why I like reading this stuff so you can remember. Yeah, people do cool stuff. Yeah, maybe they can write it off or whatever, but that was an impromptu thing. They didn't know that was gonna happen, so they did it first. Okay, I see some Tupac is referencing his old music. Thanks, chat. Thank you, Tupac, for being for not dying. Appreciate you still being alive. Hell to you, outlaws holding down. Well, it's all eyes on you, Pac. All eyes on you. Thanks, Tupac. Fathead Druid is just trying to fulfill his ambitions of a writer. Yeah. What a shocker that private citizens are better for providing at each other than bureaucratic red tape government. Yeah. Again, that person proved it. Watch the left try to cancel this business when they start charging again. Yeah, who knows? Makes you wonder why we pay tax to the government when we can take care of our damn self. I guess that's part of the goal. Make the weak depend on the government. Yeah. And one thing, I've said this. Notice that socialists never started commune. And I don't know how you can be an anarcho-socialist who's against anarcho-capitalism, because if you believe, like, I don't go as far as anarchy. I've seen this said actually recently in a chat, so it's not for me. He said, only reason I'm not completely libertarian on every single thing is I realize there are some people who are too stupid to handle libertarianism, which I don't know about that. But I mean, there's a certain part of me like, okay, some populism isn't bad, but yeah, the government doesn't do much, and it, I've heard people talk about the roads. The roads in Michigan suck, and that's the state. And anarcho-capitalism and anarcho-socialism. If you have an anarcho-capitalist state, you can create a commune, and therefore your commune in and of itself is an anarcho-socialist, whatever it is. You can create that within it, and you have a commune, and you can do whatever you want because there's no taxes from the state, and then you guys can create the rules because anarcho, however you would like. And so that I don't understand why there's not at least more of a link there. But I'll read you guys chat, and then we will all head over to yell at parked cars. Yes. Yeah. Wait, what about all these generous store owners letting people take home their stock for free last summer? They even let them make a fire or two to keep that warm. Hey, that person did have a BLM thing in their Twitter, so there you go. In the old days, there was no such thing as a career politician. If someone stayed in it, then they would drag on the street and promptly pistol. And hey, the Vigilante Williamson show does not call for violence. I still believe we can de-escalate the world war that may or may not be brewing, de-escalate the race war that they're definitely trying to push. I didn't get to Coca Cola because of time, and de-escalate any civil war or any disagreements between citizens without throwing a punch. So I'm not for violence, but I absolutely understand why that was the case, because these politicians have gone way too far. They forget every day we don't need them. They need us. Without us, their power is nothing. Exactly. Thanks for sharing two good stories. That's awesome. Yeah, I try to always end with at least one. And this one, I could have shared 10. There's so many cool stories coming out of last week's Blizzard. I have a Massachusetts plumbing license. I would love to find a way to put my skills to use for the people of Texas who could use the help more than these stuck up New Englanders. I do not know. I wish I did. Oh man, Ogre Squash, yes, you're late. You missed the whole podcast. Please rewatch. But you're not done. Hey, we are not done. We will be on Comics Division's channel, and I'm hopefully you know he's on Friday Night Tights. We're gonna hop on to Yell at Parked Cars, provided I got a link. You know what? I should have. Let me make sure I got a link. Now that we are gonna yell at parked cars. Let's do that. Let me get off of camera real quick so I can see. We're gonna make sure I got a link, then we're gonna close the show, and then we're gonna go on Comics Division's channel so we can yell at parked cars. Okay, let's see. So yes, it sucks that you kind of missed the So, yep, I did get a link. I am still allowed on. Awesome. Okay, let me put the mask on so I don't dox myself when I get back on camera to close. And we will end the show. So, yeah, unfortunately, Ogre Squasher, you did miss this show. All is not lost. I want to thank Ogre Squasher, even if he came in late. I want to thank TJ Rowe, Roof Korean. I appreciate that. Tupac Shakur for not being dead. Gomer, Kyle, Anthony Perrion. Kate, who I probably pissed off, but I still love her. Not like that she has a boyfriend, she just gotta love everybody. Ginger Ninja, Roof Korean, Fathead Druid, Fimmer, who was here earlier, Just Another Red Shirt, who's not Just Another Red Shirt, he's the Red Shirt. He was here earlier. Nick Weiser, who was already yelling at Park Car, Cinch and Dildo, and a lot of other people who I forgot. Please don't blame my head, blame my heart. I appreciate each and every one of you who showed up, and I want to thank you. Yeah, live channel incoming, maybe. Yeah, we are going to crash Comics Division. So we will be on Comics Division's channel. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ginger Ninja. Another awesome show. I didn't know you watched any previous ones. Appreciate you being here. If you're watching this replay, please, if you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share and subscribe, please do so. And even if you do none of these things, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. God bless.